Hey everybody, Jason here, and today on Ghostbusters News, we're going to be taking a look at the brand new 1/6 scale Ghostbusters action figures from Star Ace Toys of both Egon Spengler and Winston Zeddemore. And let me add that this is likely to be the first of two parts, with the second, of course, showcasing both Ray Stantz and Peter Venkman once they're available. Now, when it comes to Star Ace, we've previously featured some of their Ghostbusters collectibles here on the channel, as past releases have included the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, Slimer, as well as a Terror Dog. Overall, while I have had some nitpicks, I quite like them, and I'm pretty excited to get both Egon and Winston in hand today. I should also be totally transparent and tell you that these figures, these early samples, they were sent to the Ghostbusters News headquarters direct from Star Ace Toys. However, Star Ace, they did not tell us what to say, what not to say. They did not need to approve this video, so all the opinions here on in, they're going to be of my own. So let's go ahead and get to the unboxing, but yeah, first, we've got to talk about the boxes that each of the figures come in. And the design here, they do fit very much in line with previous offerings from Star Ace. There's that khaki style layout made to mimic the Ghostbusters tan uniforms. The Ghostbusters logo is a patch, an identifiable name tag which also says 1/6 scale collectible figure, and a glamour shot of each character with Neutrona wand in hand. The back of the boxes keep that overall uniform design with two photos of each character, as well as a brief write-up. From there, in having both Egon and Winston out of the box, yeah, both come very well packaged. You'll see that everything is nicely laid out with all the included accessories well on display, like the Proton pack, MT500 radio, extras like swappable hands, both gloved and ungloved, and a branded display stand. First impressions, I'm actually liking these a little better than I expected. Give me a quick second here to get everything out of the packaging and have them on display. Okay, so there's going to be a lot to go over in this unboxing, both the figures and their accessories, including the Proton packs, so hang tight. But let's start off with arguably the most important aspect of these, both of the characters' likenesses. And from what I've seen in promotional images, and at least from the two I have in hand here, I think Egon is, hands down, the best of the figures. He's got the high, somewhat wavy hair, a stern brow, slightly larger nose, those trademark glasses. Yeah, I think this looks great. That said, let's go ahead and jump on over to Winston. Of course, made to resemble the one, the only Ernie Hudson. And while I do think the sculpt here, the likeness, it's good, as in I totally see Ernie in this, I do think there's something about the shape of the head that's throwing it off just a little bit. That said, there is some nice sculpting detail in the hair. Of course, he's got that 84 accurate mustache as well. And with both of these figures, I really like the up-close details that Star Ace has provided on each of the characters' skin, along with the gloss found in the eyes. Like, I'm really hoping the camera it picks up those details because, yeah, these are quite lifelike. From there, let's make our way down and now fixate on the bodies. And I'm gonna kind of jump back between Egon and Winston because for the most part, yeah, they're identical. We've got the classic tan khaki uniforms, and when it comes to the shade of khaki here, I know some people, they have their own preference, darker, lighter. Star Ace, they certainly went with more of like a lighter. In fact, if you happen to have Mattel's 12-inch Ghostbusters figures, yeah, the actual shade here is nearly identical to those. Both have their identifiable name tags, with these merely printed onto the uniforms. Me, for the pricing, I would have preferred like an actual name tag and like Ghostbusters logo, you know, kind of stitched on. However, the print work, it does look clean. Like, you could even make out the little kind of trademark there right next to the No Ghost logo. Fixating back on the front of the torso, there is a functioning white zipper, which in unzipping, you're gonna find a black t-shirt underneath. And actually, in filling the torso area here, both Ghostbusters have been given a bit of padding underneath that shirt, I guess in an attempt to further fill out their uniforms. And in mentioning the fit, yeah, certainly Star Ace, they've opted to go with a bit of bag and sag, which is what you want when it comes to a Ghostbusters flight suit, but do you think it's maybe a bit too baggy? I don't know, maybe it'll look a little different when we add the Proton pack and get these two posed up. Yeah, certainly keep watching for that. Before moving on to the equipment, I do want to make note here of the elbow pads. They have some nice elasticity to them, making them very easy to take on and off if for whatever reason you wanted to do that. They also have that black square stitched in, as well the other side, the actual padding area, it is made of a softer painted plastic. And while we are taking a look right now at some of the extremities, I do love the added paint app that's been made on the gloved hands to call out the ridges and folds. Really nice. Me, I always display my Ghostbusters like 9 times out of 10 wearing gloves, so I likely won't change these out at all, but for the purpose of this video, here are those additional hands, which again have to make mention of the paint app with these mirroring the same skin textures found on the heads. You know what, for this video, let's go ahead and swap them out. So right here, Egon with gloves, and now Egon without gloves. And Winston with gloves, and now Winston without gloves. From there, let's now take a look at the military belt. And the first thing I want to call out is the fact that Star Ace, they used fabric for it. It is removable just like a real belt by the clip right in the middle, and we've got a number of items on here, with both Egon and Winston unsurprisingly mirroring one another. This includes a couple of key fobs, a radio holster, which again, each Ghostbuster, they do include a radio, as well a rather nicely painted belt gizmo. And the gizmo, it does attach to a daughter board, which they did take some creative liberties with, and that is stitched directly into the belt. And then, making our way further down onto the legs, there's some just for show, kind of like faux pocket detail, and an area to attach a leg hose, which is connected to the Proton pack, so we're certainly going to do that here in a second. As well, heading a bit further down, there are the black boots, and these do offer a similar paint app, or maybe just kind of like a bit of a wash to them. Yeah, similar to what we saw on the gloves. And this is the part of the video I've really been waiting for, to finally suit both of these Ghostbusters up with the Proton packs. And here they are, Neutrona ones in hand, ready to bust some heads in a spiritual sense, of course. Securing the pack onto each Buster, there's no 1/6 scale Alice frame, however there are green shoulder straps and a waist belt. Also, as I just made mention, the leg hose is connected to the pack itself, but with that hose then just snapping onto the connector found on the leg. And in looking at the pack now, overall, I think the base is fine. I like the labels, the weathering, and the light up effects, which we're going to show off in a second. The only area I find lackluster is the ribbon cable. I wish Star Ace would have rolled the ribbon cable around a couple times like you see on the actual packs, or maybe have used a different, softer plastic. Again, overall, I like it. I just feel like for the price point, yeah, the ribbon cable, it could be better. So I did just make mention that, of course, the Proton packs, they do light up. And let me tell you, where Star Ace, they decided to hide the battery slot, it's pretty cool, pretty genius. Like, check this out. To put the batteries inside, you remove the booster tube and frame. And given that right now you can see we have a battery inside, let's go ahead and turn the Proton pack on. And to do that, you press in the shock mount. The cyclotron, it lights up, properly turning in a clockwise pattern, while the power cell, it does have movement, which is a bit of a rarity in anything collector scale, despite the fact that, yeah, the movement of it is backwards. There is also the Neutrona wand, which we really haven't talked about too much yet. It is missing some identifiable labels, but I do love the fact that they included a clipboard. And just overall, it does look the part, and as you no doubt have already noticed, attached is a light-up Proton stream. Yeah, there's a wire running from the pack into the wand and up through the stream. Now this is going to be a portion of this unboxing that I feel is going to be a make or break for some people when it comes to these figures. Because while that Proton stream effect, it is really cool. I mean, for someone who displays a Ghostbusters collection, those streams, they add so much to it. There is a bit of a caveat. Remember when I said there's a wire running from the pack into the wand and through the stream? This means that you're never really meant to detach the Proton stream from the wand, which in turn does limit your options for display. And when I first learned about this, I was a bit taken back because there are tons of promo images of these figures with no stream attached. And I guess technically you can do this, but it would require breaking the stream off the wand, meaning you're never going to have that cool light up effect again. Doubling down on this choice and once again taking a look at the Proton pack, you're going to notice that the Star Ace opted not to include a 1/6 scale V-hook or something to that effect, because with that stream, these figures are always meant to be holding their wands in hand. And yeah, when you get all 4 figures together and the Proton streams, they're lit up like Egon's is right here, it's going to create a pretty impressive visual. But it really only gives you one option for display unless you prefer just to have a few of your busters, you know, not wearing the Proton packs, or you decide to break your high-end collectible, which is something I don't want to do. Now, in moving away from the Proton pack, there is one more piece of hardware to touch on here, that being Egon Spengler's pack-in PKE meter, which isn't exclusive to the Egon figure. Bringing the camera up close here, you can see the detail, the paint, it looks good. You got the green screen with like that silver lined effect, the yellow, red, and green accents, the silver buttons. Really the only negatives here with this one is the meter, it's a bit small. As well, on the back side, it is missing that kind of like lined effect detail. So I think that just about does it today for our look at Star Ace Toys 1/6 scale Egon Spengler and Winston Zeddemore action figures. I want to know, following this early in-hand unboxing and look, what do you think of them? Comment down below and let us know. Also, if you'd like to order either of these, they're available for pre-order right now, expected to ship later this month alongside both Ray Stantz and Peter Venkman. And in mentioning both Peter and Ray, as I said earlier, I do hope to have a follow-up video here on the channel unboxing both of those, so certainly be on the lookout. That's all I've got for you for this one. As always, subscribe. If you'd like to join up with Ghostbusters news, check out our Patreon page. A link to that is also down below, and we'll see you right back here next time.
Your spine, your senses don't deceive you. Call up the guys who are ready to believe you. The number's 555-2368. But before you call, let's get something straight. What do you do when the ghosts have been busted? Is it the source universally trusted? If you got a case of Ghostbusters blues, the cure for sure is Ghostbusters news. Jason's the guy